It's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today. This is our live weekly series where we inspire, educate, and empower you. And each week, I bring on the most amazing, awesome CEOs, authors, influencers, experts in their areas, and they talk about their story of transition to reinvent their lives and how they came out on the other side successful. And today's show, my guest is my friend, colleague, Jennifer Diepstraten, who is the high ticket sales mentor. And I'm super excited to have her on the show. So before we get started, let me tell you what to expect today. We're going to talk about what our theme of the show is, which is how to charge what you're worth and ask for it confidently. Sales is such a huge part of everyone's business. It does not matter what field you are in. If you don't have good sales, you don't have a business. So this is a really, really important topic. So that is the theme for today. And then our intention for the show is I have today to serve in a really great way while being paid handsomely. I have today to serve in a really great way while being paid handsomely. So what we're going to do is what we do every week is we're going to talk about what our theme of the show is and 3 reasons why this matters to you and why it's so important. And Jennifer and I are here together, and I'm going to have her on the entire show so she can interact with the conversation as well. And then we're going to get into her story, her fantastic journey, her phenomenal business and process that changed her life, and she's changing the lives of so many people, including me, which I love having her on the show. So let me first introduce her properly, and then we'll get into the content. So Jennifer Diepstraten has 20 years experience in sales, relationship coaching, and communication studies. So she understands what it really takes to inspire people to take decisive action. As a result of her expertise, she's sold over $14 million in products and services, working for world-leading biotech and medical equipment companies, all through one-on-one sales consultations. Isn't that amazing? Her one-call blueprint sales consultation system enabled her to triple her fees in her own heart-centered entrepreneurial endeavor in less than 6 months, and grow her sales coaching company to multi-6 figures in less than 2 years. She loves supporting coaches, consultants, and business owners to get paid handsomely for their products and services so they can continue to make a difference in the world. The system she's created and teaches her students has enabled her to create a lifestyle business that's allowed her husband to retire from his own career in home construction and work full-time with Jennifer, which is so nice. Jennifer holds a biopsychology degree from Vassar College and a master's of science in traditional Oriental medicine, and lives in Southern California with her husband and 3 sons. So welcome to the show, Jennifer. So great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
Me too. Well, I'm so excited to have you here too. And Jennifer and I met, I want to say it was about almost 2 years ago. We met at a networking event, and I just loved her. I loved her energy, her essence, her radiance, and obviously what she's doing. And so I'm thrilled to know you and have you and support you here on the show and support the audience with your talent and your expertise. So what we do every week, Jennifer, is we do take on and we talk about what our theme is, and then talk about 3 steps, reasons why, how to. And so with this week's theme, sorry, I'm twisting my words here, how to charge what you're worth and ask for it confidently. I know, because I've been in sales too. You know, I spent 24 years in sales, and I worked in the television advertising industry, and I spent 20 of those years with ABC, and I've sold over $100 million of advertising in my career. So I know what it took for you to do what you've done one-on-one that way. That is quite an accomplishment and an endeavor, and know how the importance of client relationship building and the skills that it takes to be good in sales, how valuable a skill that is. And a lot of people don't put value on that, or don't put in the time and the effort to do it well. And they're actually afraid of sales. They're just like, I don't like selling. They think it's like sleazy, or it's, and it has had that perception before. But I know when you come from a heart-centered space like you do, like I do, and when it is that authentic, sales is really fun and it's easy. So I'm so excited to talk about this with you. And what I've listed as 3 reasons why you really want to charge what you're worth and ask for it in a confident way. Number 1 is your time is your most precious commodity. It is perishable. You have today, I have today, whole theme of the company and the business. It's now, and we don't get that back. So when you're doing whatever you're doing, and certainly in sales conversations, you want to make sure that you are really maximizing your time and leveraging your time and having a conversation with someone that's really in their best interest. So what do you think about that? And what's your feeling and philosophy on that?
Yeah, I think if you are an expert, if you're selling your time for money, especially, then you've got to charge a lot for it, because the truth is, like you said, it's perishable. We only have 24 hours in the day. And if you add up, one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is they will say, oh, I'm making $100 an hour, or I'm making $200 an hour. And they look at what the client is paying them for the hour. What they're not taking into account is all of the hours that it took to procure that client.
Right.
And that also has to be covered by that client's fee. So if you really look at what you should be charging, if you're able to do 10 client hours in a 40-hour week, then those 10 client hours have to make your whole income, not just 10 hours of pay.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you're right, people don't think of it that way. The all of that, all the time that's involved to acquire that client. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, reason why number 2 is you're more knowledgeable, talented, and experienced than you know. And I know you're going to have a lot to say about this too. I know with my clients that they, fear, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, all of those things make them feel like they're not worth it. They don't know enough yet. They always seem to be on the quest to acquire more knowledge. And how do you feel about this? Because I think part of it is, certainly for me as a coach, and I'm very experienced too, but we learn as we go along too. And I find that I learn just as much from my clients sometimes as they're learning from me. And so I think that you don't even know until you get into it that you know a lot more than you think you do. And if you laid it all out and looked at your wealth of knowledge and experience beyond, say you're a coach or a consultant, and you've only been doing it for a couple of years, well, you have way more knowledge than just 2 years of doing this. You've got a lifetime of experience and knowledge. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, people have so much expertise. And one of the things that I think a lot of people run into is that we don't value our expertise because it's our expertise. Like, if it's a gift or knowledge that you've accumulated or a talent that you have, we don't think it's valuable because we live it every day. It was sort of like when I first started my sales coaching and consulting company, people were coming to me saying, Jennifer, I want to know what you know. I've got to pay you. And I'd say, well, everybody knows this, don't they? I mean, that's literally how we open the doors. And it wasn't until I realized that the value of my expertise doesn't have to do with whether or not I think it's valuable. It's the value is based on what other people perceive.
Right.
And because we're so immersed in our own expertise or knowledge, it's really hard to see the value of it. And so we end up undervaluing it mostly. Or we think, oh my gosh, I need to learn more. Like, speaking to your idea of people wanting to get more knowledge, more degrees, that's one of the things that drives me crazy, Diane, is that you have so much expertise. And here's one of the things I tell my clients. You only have to be this much ahead of your client.
Right.
Like really, because you're never going to be all the way there. You're on a lifelong journey to learn this thing.
Yes.
And you forget how little other people know.
So true. All right. For those of you who can't see us, you know, she held up a little like inch, like you only have to be a little bit ahead of your client, you know, to have that much more knowledge than them. You're still serving in a really great way, right? You still know more than they do on that. So that's a great tip. And we see your comments here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay. So the third reason why is when you charge too little, you devalue yourself. And I know we're going to talk about this, and I know you have a lot to say about this, that don't go discounting your prices. Add more value to what it is you're offering them, right? Because it still takes you the same amount of time to perform your services, right? So you don't want to be discounting it, because it does come off. I know when people start cutting their rates, like that just doesn't have a good feeling for me. I feel like, well, clearly they're not confident in what they're doing if they're starting to cut their pricing. So,
well, and the thing is that I think the only reason, like if we could write our pricing however we wanted to, we would put a big number down. Yes. And the only reason we start to cut our prices is because we think we can sell more. I mean, that's the crazy thing, is that we're like, oh, it's I don't know, I'm picking a number out of the air. It's $10,000. So, and I didn't make a sale today, so I'm going to make it 5,000. And I didn't make a sale today, so I'm going to make it 1,000. And pretty soon we undercut our own pricing because we actually think it's going to make us sell more. And it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And I'll talk about it in a little bit, because the thing that makes us sell more is truly two other things that doesn't really have that much to do with price.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. It drives me crazy. And the thing is that what happens is when you start to undercut your price and devalue it, other people devalue it as well. And of course, then they bring their friends who also devalue it. And pretty soon you're selling your stuff for a penny. I mean, you got to make a choice. Are you going to be Nordstrom? Or are you going to be Walmart?
Right. Right.
You got to pick. You got to pick.
Right.
It's okay if you're Walmart. Just know that model requires a different kind of plan. Because here's the deal with Walmart, and I'm not saying anything bad about Walmart, but if you're going to go with being the low price leader, you've got to come in with big money, big volume. You've got to have enough stamina to run all your competitors out of business, because you're probably selling at a loss. And then when your competitors are gone, you jack up your prices because you can't continue to sell at a loss. I don't know about you, but I don't know any entrepreneurs that have that kind of budget.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This is not the model that we want to be pushing. Yeah.
I certainly don't know anything about that model. I know that it works. My company is called High Ticket Sales Success. We do one thing, which is teach people how to sell high ticket, because you can grow a multi-six-figure, $1 million business with probably less than about 3,000 people, potential customers, not customers, potential customers, if you know how to sell high ticket. Yes. Really.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get into you and your story. Okay, so tell our audience a little bit more about who, I read your bio, but a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and how did you become an expert at this?
I have to laugh at this. Because I'm actually shy, or maybe there's little vestiges of shyness left. And so I'm really speaking to you out there in, those of you who are listening, that if you are uncomfortable selling, or you feel like it's something that you have to do as an entrepreneur, I want you to know that there's hope, because I actually love selling. I really discovered that I don't think of selling as selling. It doesn't have a negative connotation to me anymore. Right. But when I first went into it, I actually did it because it had a negative connotation. But at the same time, I knew that if I didn't get over being shy, Can I tell you a story? I have to tell you the story.
This is the thing. We want to hear the story. We need to know the mess to success, because the people who are in the mess need to know, like, tell us the story on how this happened. Yeah.
Okay. So so here I am. I'm like 18 years old. I'm at a liberal arts college. I'm a pre-med student. And, and when you're at a liberal arts college, I was at a small school on the East Coast. When you're pre-med in a liberal arts college, there's like 8 people in your major. Everybody else is in drama and literature and things like that. And here I am in like biochem. And I was so shy at that time that even though that my class had less than a dozen people in it, I couldn't say hi to my classmates in the hall. Okay.
Wow.
So then when I get out, so my freshman year, I moved to Boston, which is a city I never had been to before, but it was close by the college I was at. And I was trying to get a summer job. And I remember walking around the streets of Boston, applying for every job that there was, restaurant jobs, and I mean, cardboard box factories. I mean, like, you name it. And I could not get a job. It was a recession during that time. And I finally ended up getting this job at this, I don't even know what it was. I think it was, what I do know is that I rode the subway each day to this business park. And we'd go in, and there would be like 10 or 20 of us stand up on the chairs in this office and go, rah, 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 rah. And then they would send us out to sell. They filled up our bags. I had this little shoulder bag that I carried, and they would fill it up with perfume knockoffs. Okay, this is around the time when I think all these patents had run out. So here's me walking around Boston Common with this bag, and I would go up to people and say, hey, what kind of cologne do you wear? Well, if you love Hugo Boss, you'll love Hugo Ross.
Oh my gosh.
That was my job. I made enough money. I think I lasted like 2 weeks. I made enough money to buy a McDonald's cheeseburger and get my Subway token home. And at the time it was 85 cents. All right. Oh. That's how bad it was. Now, there was this guy that started around the same time I did. And he was the same age as me. He was making like $400 a week. And this is a commission only deal. So, you only ate if you sold perfume. You know what I'm saying? So, but he was selling $400 a week. And I remember I asked him, how are you doing this? And he said, I talk to 60 people an hour. And I swear my jaw hit the floor, Diane, because I haven't talked to 60 people yet.
Yes.
Right. So that's where I started. And then, I ended up rolling burritos, I think, for the rest of the summer. But when I got out of school, I went into sales again. I must have been a glutton for punishment or something, but I knew that this was one skill set that I had to master if I wanted to get anywhere. Yeah. Truthfully. And I had no idea I was going to be an entrepreneur at the time. I thought I was going to be going to medical school, but I just knew that I had to get over being shy. I had to get over being like this whole bad kind of icky feeling about selling and talking to strangers and that whole like pushy thing. I was terrified of it. But within a few years, I was one of the top performers in the biotech company I started working at. And year after year after year, I was in the top 1%, top 5%. I got to this point where I was done at 3 o'clock every day, and my customers would call me up and literally say, hey, I've got $50,000 I need to spend. What have you got that I could buy?
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
Yes. I love that story. So then what, I mean, you just told me what the biggest challenge was. So for you, it was the fear of it. And so you just put yourself out there and you wanted to master this. You knew that sales was a skill that you needed to master, which a lot of people, I think they know it on some level, but they're so afraid of it. So let's talk about your process. How did you process?
Well, I want to for sure talk about the challenge because it took me several years. And then we'll talk about the process. But I really want to highlight that one of the reasons why I think people are having such a hard time selling now is because we've grown up on this, what I think is now an antiquated model of selling. Like, I went through the original professional selling skills school. I went to negotiation school. I mean, my companies have put me through so much sales training, and I had to come up with a way to somehow assimilate all of that information and make it work for me.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of clients in my company now that have been to 1, 2, 3, 9 trainings, and they still can't sell. And I think that's also how sales gets a bad rap, because it's like, oh, you have to do this, and you have to do that, and then you have to say this, and you have to say it that way, and then you've got to overcome the objection. And it's so mechanistic that most people give up. Like, you get the script, and then you give up because you can't get it to work for you. Right. And so what I have devised in my company, and why so many of our clients are just so successful, is that we've made, you don't have to put yourself through the script to make it work. We model it, we mold it to you.
Okay.
So it's not like you're winging it. There's still a process, but it's got to feel natural and authentic. Otherwise, it doesn't work, and you won't do it.
I totally agree. I totally agree, because I've done both sides of it. And when you are authentic and you believe in what you have to offer, that you are so coming from a place where you're solving someone's problem, you really want to do that. It is so easy to do. It's just the relationship, the rapport is there. It just happens, right? Okay. All right. So, and you're right. And it is a challenge, and it is a process. So, all right, please share with us, first of all, we're going to talk at the end. We're going to make a great offer. Jennifer's got a great free gift for you. It's so powerful. So please stay till the end so you can get access to it. But talk about your 9-step formula.
Okay. So cat's out of the bag. There is a process, because I don't think that you can really get better at something if you don't have a process.
Right.
Because you don't know where to start. You don't, like, it's sort of like if you're trying to bake a cake and you want your cake to taste better. If you didn't have a recipe to start with, you wouldn't know how to make your cake better. So, so yeah, there's a process. And so the first thing that I do when I come across someone who wants to be more effective selling, my specialty is selling high-end services and products. So my clients will come in and say, you know what, Jennifer, I want to raise my fees, or I've got something that's a premium product or a premium service, and I just feel uncomfortable, or I'm not converting. I'm not getting the yes where I feel like. So what usually happens there, the problem is most people either lower their price or give up on that high-end service or product. They'll just give up trying to sell it. Okay. Or like one woman I met, she had done like 150 consultations and sold 3. Like, please do not do that. Call me before that. Like, oh, talk about like great perseverance, but banging your head on against the desk, Yes. So the first thing that we do, so I alluded to this earlier, there's 2 main things that have to happen if you want to be successful selling high-end services or products, or if you want to raise your fee. And high-end is subjective, okay? I'm just talking about selling it for more than you are right now. Now, for those of you who have a product or a service that, you can't raise the fee because the prices are set by someone else, this applies to you too, because it's about how do you reach up for a higher priced product? Like, how do you sell the, instead of the $72 night cream, how do you sell the 6-step skincare regimen for $300, right? Yeah. So whether you can raise your fees or you're just going for a higher sale price, the first thing you have to do is you have to connect with, on a deep level, the value of what you have. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You've got to believe what you're saying.
Yes.
And otherwise it doesn't fly, So we have a process that we take people through. Every single client that comes in, no matter where you are, whether you're in one of our training groups or whether you work privately with me or one of our coaches, we go through this, because you've got to connect with the deep value of what you have. The second part is you've got to communicate the value. The words, the language, the phrases you use have to resonate for the person you're talking to. And this is where a lot of people are falling down, is we think we're saying something that makes sense to other people. Here's the tip. if you're not converting, it's not making sense.
Right.
Okay. It can make sense to you all day long, but have you ever noticed that communication is kind of a crazy thing? Like you say one thing and your husband hears something else.
Exactly.
Right. So if it's not converting, one of two things, or maybe both things are happening. Either one, you're not totally resonating. You're not aligned with what it is that you're saying. The value of it is not, it's just, you're not getting it, right? You're not believing it. And the other piece is the other person doesn't understand what you're saying. They might understand it in theory, but they're not connecting with the value. The words are not communicating. So we teach you what to say, when to say it, so your ideal client says yes, period.
Okay. That's all right. I know you do it. You're amazing. All right. So all right. So tell our audience, because we always do this, how you live through, through this, the I have today way, with intention and all of that. And how you model that in your own life.
I love the theme of your show and of your business, because I have today it's really true. And here's how, there's many ways, Diane, that I really feel like I live this. And it's so easy for us to forget that we're not immortal. We know we're going to not be here forever, but we act like we have tomorrow. And so for me, it's actually about stepping through things that are scary. Like, I'm pretty sure one of the reasons I decided to go into sales is because it was scary, but I knew that fear was holding me back from something bigger. Like, I want to make a difference for people. I care about people. I meet people who have incredible cures for diseases that most of modern medicine don't know about, but they don't know how to sell. And if I didn't have the courage to step through that fear and help them, then they wouldn't be able to help the people that they are meant to serve. Right. And so here's some other things. Is like, I look at my husband, and I am so grateful for this man. I'm not saying it's not all sugar and roses all the time, right? We're real people, but the truth is like, I really don't know if I'm going to see him tomorrow. Like, honestly. And it's not because he's leaving me. It's because we don't really know what's going to happen. Like, we just don't know. And so for me, it gets me off my tush.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I get connected to, wow, this might be it. Like, did I live today to the fullest? Yeah. I'll make a phone call that I was afraid to make, or I'll apologize for something that I did that I could have held the grudge. I could have held it overnight. Right. But go to bed. Here's my advice. Go to bed every night with a clean conscience. Yeah. Do what you said. Be connected to the people around you, because that's what it's all about.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. That's really beautiful. All right. Well, do you have one final piece of advice that you'd like to offer before we talk about what's going on with you in the business and your offer for our audience?
Yeah. Believe what you have is valuable. Just believe in it, because it's a gift. Gifts are meant to be given, not kept. So what you have is a gift. Believe in it, and then go sell the heck out of it. Come on, make some money. If you've got limiting beliefs around money, or stinking thinking, or you think whatever it is, rich is bad, or whatever that stuff is that's negative on money, you get that taken care of. Because when you can make such a big difference when you've got more means. So believe in what you have and go sell the heck out of it, because you're here to make a bigger impact.
Well said. I love it. So Jennifer has her book, her ebook. Will you talk about your ebook? Because we're going to have a link for it here. Please share the info about it.
Yeah. So here's what I've got for you. So in my ebook, it's a downloadable ebook. It's 9 secrets to increase your fees and magnetically attract ideal clients. Okay, 9 secrets. It has all kinds of yummy stuff in there, including my formula for how to have a conversation with an interested prospect, how to go from hello to sold. The whole formula is in the book. Okay, so get the book. I talk about other things in there, like how do you go from a casual interaction, like you go to a party maybe and you run into somebody and suddenly you realize they could be a client. How do you segue into a business conversation? You're not going to ask them to get their credit card out over the guacamole. Right?
Yes.
So I go over real life situations like that. I also have my 4-step process to quadruple your income in 4 months. So 4x your money in 4 months is in there too. So 9 secrets to increase your fees. Get the book.
Yes.
Read it.
I have it, and it is phenomenal. Really, it's so great and so valuable. And she's giving this away for free. So, what a gift that is for you. So we are going to have it. Oh, there it is. The link is in the comments section. So download it there. And you also have an event coming up next month that. Would you like to share information about that? Because I'm attending it. I can't wait to go.
I'm so excited you're coming.
Me too.
This event is called Feel Great Selling. Easily fill your business with high-paying clients who value what you do.
Yes.
That's the whole event. It's how to feel great selling. And I'll tell you honestly, Diane, some people will come in because they're afraid of sales. I'll have other people that, like you, who are great at sales. But one of the things that happens is we can be great at selling other things, but something happens sometimes, not for everybody, but sometimes it happens that it's harder to sell our own stuff, even though we've sold millions of dollars of other people's stuff.
Right.
So one of the things that we do in the event is you get connected to the value, and we pull out the language, the phrases that are really captivating about what it is that you do, so that when people say, "What do you do?" and you have this jaw-dropping answer, you're just so much more likely to convert sales. We do that in like the first half day. And then we go on to work through, you start to get super comfortable with the whole sales conversation. 3 simple ways to ask for money. How do you ask really great questions so that clients sell themselves into your products so you don't have to do the selling? I teach you all of that. And many people will walk out of there going, oh my gosh, I love this. It's so easy. And guess what happens when you love it? Yeah. You sell stuff. You sell stuff, your prices go up. I had one gal that came in, my very first time that I did this event, she was selling a $197 product. She decided, I'm going to sell it for $350 now, for $350. I said, no. We worked through it during that weekend. It became a $5,000 offer. She sold 8 in the next 2 months.
Wow. Right. See how we devalue what we have? It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, okay. So the event is going to be held here in San Diego, September 27th, 8th, 9th. Do I have the dates?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. 27th through 29th. It's in San Diego. Yeah. And it's called should I give the link?
We have it. It's Feel Great.
You got it.
Yeah. I'll say it for those who can't see. feelgreatsellingevent.com. Correct? Yes. So go there, come, work with Jennifer and learn from her. Come meet me, because I'm going to be there taking lots of notes. I can't wait for the breakthroughs too, because even me, who's been selling for, decades, I still have challenges selling my own stuff and seeing the value in my own things. And it is a process, it's an ongoing process. You can always improve. You can always do better. And so make sure to get her book and come to her event. All right. And I want to say, I'm so thrilled to know you, have you here on the show, support our audience, both, your audience and our audience. And I want to say that, one of the things that Jennifer said, dovetails perfectly with what I'm doing. So I'm also hosting an event here in my home. It's very limited. There's only 12 spots and 6 of them are already gone. That's because I know how to sell. No. that is on September 15th. It's a Saturday. It's a one-day event, and it's how to eliminate your limiting beliefs. Most of the sales challenges that you're having are because you have limiting beliefs, mental blocks, and things that are stopping you from really stepping into your life fearfully and fearlessly. And it doesn't matter, every area of your life, not just in the sales conversation, but in love, in money and success and happiness, in your relationships. And so what we're going to do that day is we are going to talk about limiting beliefs, what they are, how they're showing up in your life, which ones are blocking you where, and then we're going to talk about the transformation. So we have a link for that event as well. And again, it is very intimate, limited. It's on September 15th. So click on the link to get in there. And as always, where else can people find out about you, Jennifer, on your site? What is your website address?
highticketsalessuccess.com.
Love it. I love your brand. And I want to say thank you so much for being here. If you want to find out more about me, DianeForster.com. And it was an honor and a privilege to have you. Do you have anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Just thank you for having me. And remember, your value is priceless.
Yes, it is. So true. Well said. Well, on that note, we're going to sign off. Thank you guys so much for being here, all your comments and all your likes. And we'll see you next week on I Have Today. Take care. Bye-bye.